Hello and welcome to this updated video guide for completing Cutter's Cry Normal in Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. My name is TSDS, and in this video you'll learn everything you need to know to run AQ40. Cutter's Cry will take roughly 20 to 25 minutes to complete, so let's see why. In the beginning, you'll find yourself in a small round cave area with some trash. Once you kill the current inhabitants, another set of trash will spawn, though this time they'll be spread out around the edges of the area. They'll all pull together, so Tank should hit one to grab them all and move to the middle area to make grouping easy. While it's tempting to go ham straight away, DPS should help the tanks out by waiting for them to group them before attacking. When the second set is dead, a shifting sands will appear that'll teleport you to the next area when interacted with. The next area is basically the same as the first, so kill everything and go through the next shifting sands. One thing to point out during this whole time so far are the rumbling patches of sand dotted all over the place, some small, some large. Standing on top of these will damage you over time, with the larger ones dealing more damage. Small ones will also occasionally spawn underneath random players, so everyone should pay close attention as you make your way through here so as to not put needless pressure on your healer. As the tank, you should also keep an extra eye out to ensure your melee DPS have enough room to fight without being forced onto a patch of rumbling sand. This next area contains an extremely small cave system with a large round room attached halfway through. In there, you'll find the first boss. Along the way, you'll encounter a few shrapnel bombs, so make sure you avoid their AoE explosions if you like being alive. If you've not all died, you'll reach the first boss, the Myrmidon Princess. This boss will summon a number of adds throughout the fight, but the tactics to follow are dependent upon the damage output of your group. If your damage is pretty normal, then DPS should kill the adds when they spawn. Most of the adds are garbage, but the Myrmidon Marshal is capable of healing the boss, so should be prioritised above the others. Other than that, avoid the AoEs like usual and sheer go down. Healers should note that the boss may randomly target people with a short silence debuff, preventing the use of skills. It doesn't last long, but if your spells aren't working, then that might be why. Now then, if your damage is quite high, you should just nuke the boss and completely ignore the adds, as you'll be able to burn her down before they become a problem. Of course, the tank should still make sure they pick up the big ones. With her dead, interact with the next shifting sands to teleport further in. Here, you'll find yourself in a little oasis situated in yet another smallish, roundish room. You just need to interact with the next shifting sands on the opposite side of where you came in from, so just make your way around one side and bust open any treasure chests along the way if you feel like it. Once you've interacted with the shifting sands, you'll find yourself in an almost identical oasis again, so just repeat stuff, and after the second teleport you'll be at the second boss. The second boss, the giant tunnel worm, is a bit of a ball ache. During the fight, the boss will target random players with sludge. This is a 30-second dot that should be removed by healers. It'll also periodically tunnel down into the floor. When this happens, everyone should head away from the middle of the room and prepare for one of three things. The first thing to watch out for are the large sand eruptions signalling the boss's location. These will head directly towards a random player, and the boss will emerge from the sand when the player is reached or if enough time passes. Anyone near the boss when this happens will take a decent hit. If you're targeted by this, try your best to run away, but this can honestly be a bit difficult to avoid sometimes, so healers should be aware. The second thing the boss can do whilst burrowed is create a large sand whirlpool in the centre of the room that pulls everyone towards it. The boss will emerge in the centre shortly after, so players should move away as soon as they're pulled in. The third and final thing the boss can do is to try and f*** you. A bunch of large rumbling sand patches will spawn all over the place. Mix those with some sludge and add a pinch of bad luck and you're going to have a bad time. Luckily, this is quite rare, so when that is dead, poke the next shifting sands to reach the final area. Here, you'll find a fairly linear cave system with a couple of dead ends for extra booty. Along the way, you'll come across a few of these blue fire things that'll AoE explosion when going near them. However, they don't really hit that hard, so don't worry too much about avoiding them. At the end of the cave, you'll find the final boss, the dreaded Chimera. This boss has some real mechanics, so listen up. At 75%, the boss will start using a couple of very hard-hitting moves, which are avoided by either moving away from the boss or moving close to it. The way you solve this is by paying attention to the message that will appear on your screen. If the message states that the dragon's eyes now burn violet, everyone needs to stand in melee range of the boss, as it'll dragon's voice lightning attack the room other than a small area around it. If the message states that the ram's eyes now burn blue, everyone instead needs to move out of melee range, as it'll ram's voice ice attack in a small zone around it. Getting hit by either of these is a big no-no. Fortunately, there is a way to make things easier. The dragon's eyes burn violet and the ram's eyes burn blue, so memorize to stack on dragons or violets and run away on rams or on blues. For me, I remember dragons and rams because I usually pay more attention to the boss's cast bar than pop-up messages. Dragons, or violets, means it'll cast dragon's voice, and rams, or blues, means it'll cast ram's voice. Those are the spell names you'll see being cast, which for me made it easier to remember the animal rather than the colour. It's also worth reminding your group of this ability before the fight. In every run I recorded, I asked if everyone knew the tactics for it, and everyone that said yes got a little bit of their arse handed to them. Other than the voice attacks, the boss also does a few other things. For tanks, it'll frontal cone attack from both the dragon's and ram's heads, so just avoid these. It's worth noting that these attacks are called the Dragon's Breath and the Ram's Breath, so shouldn't be confused with the more important voice versions. Lastly, the boss will target a random non-tank with one of two moves. The target of the first is made known by the large targeting reticule that forms on them, so if this is you, you should start moving away. The boss will spawn a slow-moving lightning orb that will chase the target. This will explode for a one-time AoE after a short amount of time, so just move away from it and your group until it does so. The second move puts an AoE underneath someone that will leave a sizable patch of ice on the floor, damaging anyone standing in it. Use a limit break when it's ready, and here go down. And that's Cutter's Cry Normal. If you've enjoyed the guide, then let me know, and if there are any other guides or perspectives you would like to see, then check out my channel or feel free to ask me to create one. Thank you for watching, and good luck.